paradiddle, paradiddle. Hey, it's Josh from Drum Highway here, and you may be thinking, what was that? And that's a good thing to be thinking, because they were paradiddles, but they were not phrased as we usually think of them. Normally, we think of the paradiddle in 16th notes, 4-note groupings, paradiddle, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I was phrasing them in triplets, so not lying evenly with those downbeats. And they sound weird, but that's what makes them cool. It's a pretty polyrhythmic sound, but it's very useful in jazz and blues, and also rock and roll. And I don't know why I said rock and roll. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I think of and play paradiddles in triplet form. But stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to give you a counting exercise with these triplet paradiddles, which is a bit of a freaker. So let's get into it. So the first thing we need to understand is that we're going to base this in triplets. So as we're doing this entire exercise, please continue to think of this stuff as triplets, at least for now. Triplets are 3-note groupings. Paradiddles are 4-note groupings, which means they're not going to lay evenly on those downbeats. So what you got is paradiddles are 4-note groupings, and if we're playing in triplets in 4/4 time, which are 12 notes, you're going to get 3 paradiddles. So it's going to be right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right. And then to complete the entire cycle, you're going to have to do the whole thing again, starting on the left side. So we'll think of it as a 2-bar phrase, continuing left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. So as we're going through these things, it's important to note that because we're dealing with triplets, groups of 3s, and paradiddles are groups of 4, the paradiddle is going to start at a different point of the triplet each time. The first time it's going to start on the downbeat. The second time it's going to start on the second part of the triplet, 1 trip on the trip part. And the last time it's going to start on the let, and then we'll do the same thing when it starts again on the left side. Let's go through the sticking pattern very slowly so you can see how it works. Okay, so let's build across this bar, adding a little bit at a time. We're just going to do the first measure, then the second measure starting on the left, then we'll put them together, a little bit at a time. Take your time with this. If you need to stop the video and do a bunch of stuff and just go over it 100 times, little parts, please do, because it's a bit of a mind bender. But remember to keep thinking of things as triplets. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 triplet, 2, 3, 4, 1 triplet. Now let's add the accent on the second part of the triplet after that. Just that much. 1 triplet, 2 trip, and try to catch that on the left-hand side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, trip, 3, 4. Trip, 3, 4. 1 triplet, trip. One more time. 1 triplet, trip, 3, 4. Let's finish the paradiddle on that side. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 trip. 1, 2, really slow. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 trip. 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 Let's add the accent back on the right. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's finish out the measure, and we'll do a measure of bass drum in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Same side. 1, 2, 3. Same side. 1, 2, I don't think I said words. 1, 2, 3, last time for good measure. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. That's a bit of a challenging thing to do. All these things are slow. A lot of times you'll hear people playing them and they're going faster, and in some cases, once you get it kind of rolling, it's easier to do. When you're trying to go slow like that, it's hard. You're also dealing with gravity, and it's super awkward and weird, so take your time with it. You will have to go slow to get it, but you will get it. Let's do the same thing on the left side. Let's put this left side together real slow. Left, right, left, left. 1 triplet, 2. Everything's the same. We're just starting on the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, Okay, let's add the trip back on the right. 1 triplet, 2 trip. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. Let's finish that right paradiddle on 3 trip. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, trip. Now let's add that let back on the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 2 triplet. 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 And then finally, finishing out the whole measure. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, and then leave a bar in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 2 triplet, 4 triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 2 triplet, 4 triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 2 triplet, 4 triplet. I don't think I said any words. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 2 triplet, 4 triplet. Last time. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 2 triplet, 4 triplet. All right, now we're going to put the whole thing together as a 2-bar cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 2 triplet, 4 triplet. 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 Practice that a bunch. Did I say practice that a bunch? Just do it. It's kind of weird, but once you get it, it really is going to be great. Let's talk about how these things can actually be applied after you get this going as a technical exercise. Just as a technical exercise, it's great. But also, we like to use things, you know, in music. So let's do that. We're going to use it in a shuffle first. And I'm just going to play that pattern on the snare drum. We're going to keep the bass drum going. When you use this in musical situations, you have to be careful. I'll often, in like rock and in blues and stuff like that, I will keep a bass drum going just kind of the way we did it in the exercise, even though I may be moving it around the toms. Because if you just all of a sudden start blazing that thing out all over the place, people are going to freak out because all of a sudden you're playing a polyrhythm 3 against 4 and you're going to get fired. So keep some grounding on it and, you know, use it a little bit at a time and then it sounds totally cool. Here it is in a shuffle setting. Now, the next thing is you can also move that around the toms, and it sounds like this. You can also shorten it and play a 1-measure fill. You'll play right, left at the end. So it's 2 paradiddles and then right, left. It's 3, 4, 1. You can also use it in sort of a rock swing setting as well. A little bit more open, similar to the shuffle, but I'm going to play a little bit more rockin', and I may actually play some crashes with that stuff as well, so it could get a little weirder, but again, I would start with some basic stuff and then see how things go with who you're playing with and what the musical situation actually is. All right, here we go. In that example there, you might have noticed that at one point I just left one hand on the floor tom. And that's a great texture. You can get those paradiddles going back and forth between the floor tom and the snare, and then kind of move them around the kit. And of course, sounds great when you're playing jazz stuff, and opens the door to some polyrhythmic stuff kind of in the jazz room. You heard a little bit of that in the rock swing, but you can do more of it in the jazz stuff. I'm just going to use it in some basic ways that I use it, but you can easily see how this can be expanded in a lot of different directions. Another way I'll use this is something I call the octopus, and that is that you're just kind of moving the hands around all over. I was kind of doing that in that last example as well. When you add more crashes to it, it just sounds a little bit more chaotic when you're mixing crashes with toms and stuff. Check it out. A final little thing here is just sort of a counting freakout. And really what it does, it just shows how incredibly polyrhythmic this figure really is. In other places around the world, African drumming, Indian drumming, many other places, these kinds of polyrhythms occur all the time, and it's not something that's a total freaker. But for me, a guy from Illinois, it can be kind of weird, and it's hard for me to get a handle on it. In any event, this is just a little counting exercise. I'm going to play that paradiddle pattern on the hi-hat with the bass drum and quarter notes, and I'm just going to count it differently. And I think you're going to hear a tremendous shift when I do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 2 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2, 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2, 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1. Did you feel your brain go a little sideways on that? I certainly do every time, and I definitely feel I'm playing the exact same thing. I'm just counting it different. I'm going from counting all those triplets to counting 16th notes in 3/4 time. And instead of feeling this triplet, boom, 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 all of a sudden you get this 4 against 3 thing going against the hi-hat and the bass drum, and it's really kind of wacky. And so that just shows you the way that these rhythms can be opened up and used in many, many different ways. This is just barely scratching the surface of it. But if you can work on that exercise and just play that and go back and forth between counting those two different kinds of ways, I think you're going to find that it's really going to work the internal clock, but it's also going to be incredibly beneficial to a lot of other things in your playing. Well, that's a lot of paradiddles and triplets going on all at one time. I hope you got something out of it. Practice it, go slow, take your time. This stuff can be kind of weird if you've never encountered this kind of a thing before. So go slow, enjoy, have fun with it. We'll see you next time.